Welcome into the Commanders Report. I'm your host, Jack Sperry, and today at the top of our show, I'm going to be talking about two top free agents that Pro Football Focus has linked to the Washington Commanders. Some very interesting names there. Then we'll get into a Commanders coach that could be on his way out to another team for a higher role. And no, it's not Cliff Kingsbury. And then the final thing we're going to talk about today is a hilarious report from ESPN talking about how Dan Snyder, the former owner of this team, is absolutely seething at the newfound success of this franchise now that he is gone. So make sure you stick around for that very funny report from ESPN. But before we get into the content today, we're going to give you guys extensive Commanders coverage for free on this channel for what's going to be most likely one of the biggest off seasons in the history of this franchise. You got a bunch of cap space, some really good draft capital. Of course, you got a quarterback, a superstar quarterback in Jaden Daniels on a rookie contract. The opportunities are certainly there for Washington to build a Super Bowl caliber team. So this offseason, daily Commanders videos letting you know what's happening, who they're targeting, all this different stuff. Breaking news coverage every time the Commanders make a big move. Also, weekly live shows right here on the channel every Wednesday at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time. It's all 100% free, guys. So help us get to 40,000 subscribers. We're already 34,000 plus strong here on the Commanders Report. So make sure you click that subscribe button right now to never miss a video. So the first Pro Football Focus free agent target that they said was a perfect fit for this player, Khalil Mack, edge rusher, formerly with the Los Angeles Chargers. They say that he should go to the Washington Commanders. This is what Mason Cameron from Pro Football Focus had to say about the 33-year-old edge rusher. Even after 11 seasons, Khalil Mack remains one of the NFL's premier edge defenders and is graded in the top 6 at the position in each of the past 2 years. Over that span, the veteran has racked up 139 pressures, including an impressive 27 sacks, proving he's still a dominant force. Washington found success adding a seasoned leader in Bobby Wagner and could benefit from a similar move by bringing in Mack. The Commanders' defense has struggled to generate pressure without blitzing, ranking 7th lowest in pressures created with just 4 or fewer rushers. And Pro Football Focus projects currently that Khalil Mack's next contract is going to look like 2 years, $22.5 million per season. I think that's a pretty fair number for an aging edge rusher like Khalil Mack. Now, Khalil's still playing a very, very high caliber of football, and we'll talk about that here over the next couple minutes or so. But let's take a look at his profile here. He is 33 years old, so he is getting older, but because of that, he might be looking to go to a contender like the Commanders to see if he can try and get a ring on his finger before he hangs up his cleats. Also, I think that his bigger size at 269 pounds is a perfect fit to play defensive end in Dan Quinn's system where he likes to have bigger defensive ends. And then, the question comes up here is that he's still putting up high-end production, all right? I understand why people would be like, Jack, I don't know, 33 years old, that's kind of old. Why would we want to bring him in? He's still one of the best edge rushers in all of football. We can take a look here at his production over the last several seasons. And this year, the sack production did go down a bit from in 2023 when he had 17 sacks. But I do think that he is somebody that's still played at an extremely high level. Defenses or opposing offenses, I should say, really avoided him and double-teamed him a lot as well. You take a look at his Pro Football Focus grading as well. And, Pro Football Focus grading isn't gospel, all right? It's a tool to use, at our disposal. You shouldn't take it, all as gospel, but also not all as a farce. You take a look at his numbers here. In the last 2 years, he's graded above a 90 grade. That is an elite grade, and he was 6th and 5th ranked defensive end in all of football out of 112 and 109 edge rushers in the entire National Football League. So Khalil Mack is still very much getting it done on film, ladies and gentlemen, and I could actually really see this happen. I could see the Washington Commanders and Khalil Mack both kind of joining forces this offseason because Mack is an older player looking for a ring. The Commanders are looking for an experienced number one edge rusher that can really helm this group and help them generate more pressure without having to blitz as often as they did in 2024. So you be the GM for me down there in the comment section. Would you sign Khalil Mack to a 2-year, $22.5 million per season contract this offseason to make him the new number one edge rusher here in Washington? Give me a yes or a no down there in the comment section for today's pinned comment. YouTube's going to throw you an ad break here in just a couple of seconds. It's just the way YouTube works, guys. So go down there, find that pinned comment at the top of the comment section when that YouTube ad break hits, and give me a yes or a no. And second free agency target that the Pro Football Focus team has linked to the Commanders is none other than left tackle Ronnie Stanley from the Baltimore Ravens. This is what Mason Cameron had to say about this one being a fit for Washington. Stanley has made a living off protecting the most mobile passer in the game has ever seen in Lamar Jackson, an immeasurable experience that would pay dividends to a Commanders offense looking to keep its young, dynamic passer Jaden Daniels upright. Although Stanley's 2021 ankle injury stalled his career, the veteran tackle generated a 75-plus PFF pass blocking grade in each of his past 3 seasons, which is a pretty darn good grade in case you aren't aware of what Pro Football Focus grading looks like. So you take a look at the projected contract here, 2 years, $20 million per season, so another relatively hefty contract. But for a guy like Stanley and his skill set, I think it's absolutely worth it for the Washington Commanders. He's 30 years old, so he's not a young pup anymore, but he's certainly not like ancient. He's got a good size profile at 6'6", 310 pounds, and like Cameron from PFF noted, he has experience playing, in protecting a very mobile quarterback in Lamar Jackson. All right, and if you're looking for the perfect fit with this offense to protect Jaden Daniels and understands the tendencies of playing with a mobile quarterback, I think Stanley is the number one option the Commanders should be looking at in this free agency crop. And then also he'd just straight up provide a steady presence at left tackle that frankly this team is missing. Brandon Coleman had certain flashes this year at left tackle, but I think we all agree it wasn't a perfect season from the rookie out of TCU. I would rather kick him inside to left guard. I think he's more built and his skill set is better placed to play guard in the National Football League than tackle. And then you can plug Ronnie Stanley in there at left tackle, and you have somebody that is a very, very solid veteran at a pretty decent price as well in NFL free agency. Now, the thing is, Washington would have to outbid Baltimore. They like Stanley a lot, and I think they're going to be trying to create a little bit more cap space from where they currently stand. According to Over the Cap, as we stand here right now, the Commanders currently have $86.6 million in cap space for 2025. The Ravens just have 5.8. Now, the Ravens are going to cut people. The Ravens are going to restructure people, and they're going to create more cap space. But I think in a pissing match here, the Commanders are going to win if it comes down to money. And who's going to be willing to pay Ronnie Stanley more, I don't think there's any question about it. It would be the Washington Commanders. So this is another one that I could certainly see actually being realistic for the Commanders. They have so much cap space. I do think that they're going to try and get a veteran edge rusher, and I do think they're going to get a veteran offensive tackle, or at least I hope they do. And I'm really hoping that they kick Brandon Coleman inside because I really think he could be a nice player if they do that. And then, of course, you get the experience and then the skill set that you're looking for at left tackle for hopefully what's going to be a Super Bowl push in 2025. So still to come here on the Commanders Report, there's a Commanders coach that could potentially get poached by another NFL team. I'm going to let you know who the coach is and which teams are interested in. And then we're going to finish up today's show with a hilarious Dan Snyder report from ESPN. You're not going to want to miss that, so make sure you guys stick around. But before we get into the rest of today's content, let's have a word from our sponsor here at Game Time, which is the best place for you to buy tickets for the sports, music, comedy, and theater in your area. Game Time has a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets for live events even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. All you have to do, guys, is select the Game Time Picks button at the top of the screen when you click into an event you want to go see, and Game Time automatically filters through their entire database of tickets to find you the best tickets at the best prices with the best views so that you and your family can always get the best deals on any ticket you get to any event. What I love about using the Game Time app and why it's the only ticketing app I have on my phone right now is you get the lowest price guarantee on any ticket to any event, all-in pricing so you don't get slapped with a crazy fee at checkout, and flash deals so you can get even cheaper tickets the closer you wait to game time. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time today. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CHATSPORTS. It's one word, all caps, CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. It's just for the first purchase, guys. Again, create an account and redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game time. So here we go again, Commanders fans. First it was Cliff Kingsbury, then it was Anthony Lynn, and now it's David Blau's turn. The assistant quarterbacks coach for the Washington Commanders is getting a lot of interest around the league to be the main quarterback coach for their team and even pass game coordinators in certain offenses. Mike Garafolo had this to report earlier today. Commanders assistant QB coach David Blau has a request from the Jets to interview for their QB coach job, as well as a request from the Bears for passing game coordinator, sources say. Blau, age 29, is garnering attention only 1 year into his coaching career. And, I think at some point here, guys, there's a lot of, new head coaches looking to fill out their staffs, and David Blau is a high-energy, youthful, very smart person that I think that a lot of these coaching staffs are going to want to bring in. He is considered an up-and-coming mind in the NFL coaching space, and, I think if Blau has an opportunity to move up in his career and go from an assistant quarterbacks coach to a legit quarterbacks coach or even a passing game coordinator, which of course is the next step towards eventually becoming an offensive coordinator, which of course is the next step to getting a potential head coaching job. So I think Blau, if he gets an opportunity to get a better job than what he has currently here in Washington, he's going to take it. And I think because of his pedigree and his reputation, he's eventually going to get offered a job, and he is going to take it. And the reason why that sucks, guys, is because Cliff Kingsbury's probably not going to be here in Washington forever, and Blau leaving means you have one less and honestly very, very good candidate to be the heir apparent at offensive coordinator here in Washington. One of the downsides of having a defensive head coach in Dan Quinn is that if you have a really good offensive coordinator, they're going to get poached, right? And you have to replace them, and you have to have people in-house that are ready to step up and are ready to take on that job. Now, even if Blau leaves, you could go with guys like Tavita Pritchard, the current quarterbacks coach here. You could go with Anthony Lynn, the running backs coach here in Washington. There's still some good options to replace Cliff Kingsbury if and when he ends up getting a head coaching job in 2026. But, seeing Blau potentially leave is certainly a name I don't want to see leave this building. So the final thing we're going to be talking about today is none other than Dan Snyder. I thought I'd never have to talk about this guy again, but I can't be happier I'm talking about him in this context. ESPN came out with a report this weekend saying that Snyder, quote-unquote, effing hates the Commanders' newfound success under, of course, Adam Peters, Dan Quinn, Jaden Daniels, and Josh Harris here in the nation's capital. And my reaction, guys, is good. I want him to be pissed off about it. All right, what he did to this organization, he took a blue blood NFL franchise that was constantly in the conversation for Super Bowls. All right, they had one of the greatest head coaches in the history of the National Football League, Joe Gibbs. Then he comes in, and he is an absolute disaster, and he pretty much banished this organization to 3+ decades of bad football. All right, so I couldn't be happier that he's pissed off about this, because I'm happy that he's out of this organization, and we've got the infrastructure that we have right now. The future's bright here in Washington, and that has nothing to do with Dan Snyder. So F Dan Snyder down there in the comments section. Type those FDSs down there in the comments if you're happy Dan Snyder is gone and pissed off about this team's newfound success. I know I am. If you are as well, type those FDSs down there in the comments. That'll be it for today's show, guys. Really do appreciate all of your support making it to the end of today's program. Make sure you click that subscribe button right now, because we got more great Commanders content coming your way all throughout the offseason. So if you haven't already, click that subscribe button right now.